Yo, family, what's good? Welcome back again to another daily live stream. Of course, off the back of yesterday's roundtable with Rory and Envy. What a incredible stream that was with myself and CryptoPumps Jer. Of course, a lot of alpha, a lot of stuff to dissect, which I will probably try to make a video on that tomorrow. Because there was a lot. What they are building is insane. The belief and conviction they have in Kaspa and how much better it is than frankly every other project is something that we all I think aspire to have that sort of conviction, and a lot of us do, and we can only hope that it will pan out very well as time goes on. Now we have got a small update. I'm going to go into a little bit more about the GeoSeal inequality, their post explaining what we heard from Rory yesterday, amongst some other things as well about what they're building and really cool stuff. Just kind of a recap of what we spoke about yesterday for Kaspa. We've got some other updates as well, but the main theme for today's stream is basically what I and my VIPs had already been prepared for. As we can see, as I quickly drag across my Discord to the VIP community here, we can see I made a report earlier today talking about, based on an article that we had looked through, the possibility of what we'd see playing out after Trump's meeting in Davos, where right now, after the weekend, after Saturday, markets were in a lot of pandemonium, a lot of FUD. We saw gold and silver rally exponentially. Gold's still going up a little bit because there's still a lot of uncertainty right now, because Trump does tend to go back on his word quite repeatedly, in all honesty. But we did see Bitcoin coming down. We have seen, since Saturday, so we're talking here, we saw Bitcoin come down about 7% or so, or even touching the support band, playing out exactly as we had spoke about, how we'd see Bitcoin touch this support band of 87, 88k, and then depending on the developments from this tariff fund, we'll either see Bitcoin correct, continuing this downtrend, or you start seeing a little bit of a bounce, where you have seen it right now. We can look even a little bit closer, going to the 15-minute chart, looking at around 5 p.m, which is 4 hours ago, for where I'm at, or for where we are. We saw Bitcoin correct within this zone just briefly, and then we saw it manage to make a recovery, trading along the top of the support line, and then we saw the big announcement from Trump, reaffirming what me and my VIPs had effectively foretold, so we were anticipating and preparing for this development. The article here is what we were referencing in the VIP, just talking about how Trump was very silent regarding the tariffs, about how there's a possibility that Trump did not seem like he wanted to take Greenland by force. So he wanted to actually try and go towards that actual negotiation, which was kind of foretold. We kind of already predicted that, but that's what his speech, that's what his stance, the way he held himself at Davos seemed to portray. And now, S&P surged 1%. Trump has now announced he will no longer be imposing those 10% tariffs on EU countries from Feb 1st, which is really big news. Apparently, he said he has formed a framework for a future deal with respect to Greenland with the Secretary General of NATO, which is fantastic news to hear, of course, and evidently when the markets are pumping. Bitcoin's now returned to 90,000, up 2%. We've seen Ethereum now up 3%, valued at 3K. Kaspa's up 3.48%. Trying its best to return within the support band of around 4.1. We saw it momentarily encroach inside around about an hour ago before then getting rejected. So hopefully see Kaspa able to actually surpass that throughout this stream, if not by the end of the day. If we end the trading day within this zone, it's a good possibility we see the Kaspa continue to make its move upwards. The fact that Kaspa held 4 cents the way that it did after Bitcoin's correction to that support zone yesterday is fantastic news. And also importantly, one of the assets that we have spoke about a bit more recently, especially one of the assets and the picks that I showcased to my VIPs in a document in our AI playbook, we have Power AI. Power AI is up 27% today, and it was up a lot more earlier. Of course, Power is a much smaller asset, so it's highly volatile. We can go to the 15-minute chart as well. We can see the volatility a lot more in real time, where we're looking at the beginning of the day. We started down here. We saw Power go on a very nice run up, 40%. Then we saw a pullback quite quickly over the span of a couple of hours, and then Trump's announcement came through, and now Power's up 28% in value, valued at 0.041. It's doing absolutely insane, and Powell have got a very big announcement coming through soon, which is also why I am personally, and this is an asset that I think will do very, very well this cycle. Of course, very, very high risk to do so at your own discretion, trade your own discretion, do your own research. But I have the document in there that gives a lot of insight into why I believe Powell could be a big play. So you want to find out more, get the research kind of there for you. You can check out the VIP. Links down below in the description. There's a free trial available and a 1 month free trial if you sign through BYDFI, which the information that's in our free server as well. You follow the steps in there, but get the documents in there, the insights, the research, the live streams, the trades, and everything else going on in there as well. But this is doing very, very well, and the other assets we're looking at also are performing great as well. There's going to be a lot more coming through soon, of course, off the basis that this deal with Trump does continue, and we actually see this negotiation, this trade going accordingly. The only thing is, we have yet to hear if there has been anybody from the EU side who has confirmed what's happened, right? We're yet to hear if there be any confirmation right now, which I have not heard any confirmation from any EU officials. So take what he said with a grain of salt right now. It's great for the markets. It's great short term, but we need to wait wholeheartedly really to hear an EU official confirm the basis that they are trying to reach negotiations, and that will solidify the momentum and send crypto, send Kaspa, send these assets up a lot higher as well. The most profitable market in history right now, according to Kobe's letterhead, stocks are now extending gains to new all-time highs. S&P is up 1.5%, according to step 8 of their playbook, which we had mentioned briefly in previous streams, where it hasn't been a week, but the typical playbook is Trump makes an announcement, he doubles down on it, makes it go really, really bad for the market, and then he, to coin the term taco, he chickens out, he comes back on it. This is what happens every time he's actually enforced tariffs or tried to, he comes back on it. So they're going through negotiations. You'll then see senior administration officials from his team, his cabinet, like Scott Bessent, who will appear on live TV, reassuring investors that they are progressing towards a deal. And then we'll see what happens from that point forward as well, whether you'll see. But it's all good to see, we understand how the market's going to move, but what matters really is hearing foreign officials confirm negotiations are taking place as well. Otherwise, then you'll see a quick pump with the hopium and then a quick reversal as well. Don't know why my mic's so low. I haven't changed a thing. I'll bring it a bit closer. Hopefully that fixes that issue. If it is still low, let me know. But this is great stuff to see right now. Assets that we're looking at, that we've spoken about, Render's up 6% right now, doing fantastic. Tau up 6% now off the back of this news. We mentioned Power already up 27%, fantastic. Virtual's up 7%. Kaspa's up 3.4%. We want to see Kaspa regain the support zone ideally. We'll see what happens going forward with that. Bitcoin right now is at a support level or level of resistance right now. We'll see if Bitcoin can continue this trend and start to try and regain 92. Tomorrow will be interesting though, because we have got tomorrow's going to be a very interesting day, because tomorrow we do have the GDP report, quarterly GDP. And if it comes back better than expected, you'll likely see markets reassured that the economy is in a growing state, and you'll see the markets pump. If it comes lower than expected, you might sort of see Bitcoin hold and maybe come back a little bit as well. But geopolitical tensions right now seem to be easing off a bit, which is fantastic news. And once again, what we mentioned to our BRPs, in advance, in preparation for this happening. So we were prepared for this move, which is, this is the benefit of the VIP, getting that information ahead of time as well. I've got some other information in regards to this real quickly. We spoke about the anticipation from the Davos event. We even got a little clip here from Trump at Davos, which he said it multiple times before, but it's still reassuring to hear that he is aiming to work to help America to remain or become the crypto capital of the world. I'm going to say become. I guess it is technically still the crypto capital of the world right now, despite the fact that there's still not enough regulations in play, but crypto is still becoming a accepted asset class worldwide, and no one that actually properly accepts it just yet. The UK is working on it, so is the EU, so is China, so is Japan. I think America right now have got that advantage, albeit the regulations aren't fully in place just yet, but that's good news. Great to see that. And then also heard at the World Economic Forum, I think the BlackRock CEOs talk about how we must move faster towards digitized currencies under a single unified blockchain to reduce corruption. Now that is very interesting. Why? Because that's exactly what Rory O'Neill from the KRI was talking about yesterday about how why we need Kaspa for that, because these other centralized platforms, they bottleneck, they congest, and they're centralized as well. They can't truly be deterred from corruption, because the whole problem of corruption is the one biggest cause for corruption is human greed. We know that. We know that human greed is one thing that the money, the economic system is not taking account to, besides Kaspa with true decentralization. Also why KRI have released a new project we spoke about in yesterday's blockchain banter episode with GeoSeal, which is exciting stuff. In trying to break that down a bit more, it basically means that enterprises don't need more location data. They need verifiable truth about the physical world. So when stuff is taking place, when you're sending receipts, be it for transactions or for energy, right? It just solar panels back and forth from different regions. This will create a ticket, a tester ticket that will let you know that the transaction has gone through and it hasn't been stolen at all. GeoSeal provides cryptographic proof of place and proof of existence for people, assets, and key events, anchored immutably on Kaspa. That is huge stuff. Call it once more to the whole. This will completely reduce the corruption that these bodies are actively searching for, and a system that can actively do that. Proves a way that cannot be rewritten later on. A person was present, and as it existed, an event occurred. It cannot be changed. A specific place within defined bounds, a specific time. GeoSeal is not tracking. It produces international event-based attestation only when invoked, which is very, very important. It goes on to hear why it matters as well. And for enterprise use cases, even talks about here as well, was CBA and trade compliance. It's proof that production capacity and processing occurred at a regulated location within compliant time windows. So without exposing sensitive site data. So it's giving you the confidence of what's actually taking place without exposing anything that is going to potentially be damaging or give out information that could help the opposition to regard to what you're doing. Proof that containers, cargo, and custody events occur at specific ports, deports, and handover points, verifiable years later. Proof that assets exist in minting, inspection, transfer, and yield reporting, providing physical grounding for digital instruments. Proof that inspections, maintenance, and operational events occurred on site, replacing attestation with evidence. Is unbelievable how significant of a project this is. Now, of course, we can't expect this to be up and running, implemented, all, firing off all cylinders immediately. These applications they're building with their enterprise clients, the projects they're building, which, there's so many that we don't even know about, of course, due to non-disclosures. They have them all in the works right now. They have massive partnerships like SGCC, State Grid Corporation China, one of the top 3 Fortune 500 global companies who are actively now learning more about Kaspa, wanting to build these projects on the Kaspa blockchain as well. It's exciting stuff, and when these projects finally take shape, we the retail won't see it. That's the thing that's going to be the hard part to really grasp. That's going to be the hard part to really grasp. None of the retail is going to necessarily really see what's happening, because that's not how it works. No one's going to be able to see what's happening, really. It's just going to be a case of this is what's going to be happening, in the institutional corridors as opposed to the retail corridors, where you're going to be seeing the gigawatt utilized by institutions and the ZETEX exchange they're going to be having as well, and everything else taking shape as well. It's going to be exciting stuff. Welcome back, Wyatt, bro. You're doing very, very well, my man. Great stream of pumps yesterday, mate. Very informative about what the KRI are doing. Thank you very much. And yeah, it was a blast. I remember Pumps mentioned it actually earlier when we were applying to Cash Ching, that after that stream had finished around 11:30 where I live, 11:30 p.m., you then saw then me and Pumps were just chilling in a private call with Rory and Envy for like another 2 hours, just chewing the fat, just chatting and waffling, talking about Star Trek and Kaspa and everything else. It was so informative. It was crazy. The stuff they're building is insane. Of course, I don't know more than you do because non-disclosures, but it's insane. It's insane, the stuff that I'm tired. I can't lie, I'm so tired after yesterday. But it was a very, very informative event. And we're going to see what comes through next week as well. We've got some lined up. Got to try and get some other people lined up as well, so it's cool stuff. But yeah, it's yesterday's stream was insane. I need to go through it again to really compile it all into. I want to try and compile it into kind of a shorter form video to just depict some of the main points. Also loved how Rory was constantly like and subscribe. He's a man that knows the YouTube stuff. Like and subscribe. He knows it. Welcome back, Dimitar Man. You're doing very, very well. Today we hit 3.9 cents. Yes, if we look at Kaspa real quickly, we did very, very briefly touch on that 3.9 cents zone. If we go into the 15-minute chart here, or even 10-minute chart here, we can see we did momentarily touch 3.9. We didn't go to the bottom of 3.9, but we did momentarily encroach into that zone, just losing 4 cents. And we have managed to make a quick recovery, and we can see on the 10-minute that we are struggling to surpass this level of resistance here at 4.16, which has been a proven level, very tough to pass into. So I think if Bitcoin can manage to continue to show momentum and make this push back up to the support here, or level of resistance here, this zone up here, I think that would be the necessary momentum Kaspa needs to actually manage to surpass in this zone and start trading within it as well. So when I mentioned about looking for that long-term opportunity, of course, I mentioned to my VIPs earlier what the general dynamic was before, minutes before Trump made that announcement, which is, Trump made the announcement around here. You can see when the market started to move, Trump made the announcement around here. I made the announcement in my VIP. If you want to get timestamps for it, about 40 minutes beforehand. The timestamp right here. My time 6:30, and the market started moving my time 7:15. So about 45 minutes earlier, before Trump made that announcement, we were anticipating and prepared for market to start showing a bit more momentum again, stop to correcting as such, and then Trump made the announcement. So we were, ahead of the game in that regard, which is great to see for us. And we'll likely see either the market continue hitting this level here, and then we might see a bit of a pullback, which could be a chance for us to take a short trade, or we'll see if the markets are still showing a lot of strength, which then we'll be probably looking to see if we can take profit in this zone, this next port here. And we'll look through the other alts we're looking at as well. Again, like Powell, going parabolic right now, up 30%. These things doing very well as well. Virtuals, these assets are soaring right now, which is great to see. Not nice news, to be honest. I mean, yeah, not going below 4 cents is not the greatest thing to see, but for me, most importantly, we don't want to see what we would ideally, for me, what would be bad for Kaspa would be us returning to 3.6 down here and losing that. That would confirm we're still in a downtrend for Kaspa. That would not be ideal. And of course, it's still possible right now. In all honesty, it is. I am not overly worried because I still have the utmost belief that later in a few months' time, when the midterms are starting, when Jerome Powell's about to be on the way out, when the new Fed chair comes in with the crypto market structure bills hopefully going to be implemented, when these developments start gaining momentum again, when they're close knocking on the door, you'll see the risk on sentiment start to increase, when AI will start to bloom and boom as well. So these will be, for me, DC opportunities that I'm looking into, or potential entry zones for trades. I'm not worried about this. Losing 4 cents is not ideal. I agree with you. And I understand having many miners off as well. Completely understandable. I get that. And you've got to do what you've got to do. But for me, losing this would be a bit more impactful. But my zone here, I'm still looking. I can still see us potentially coming as low as 2.7 in the worst case scenario right now, or one of the worst case scenarios. So we'll see how it goes. But I'm not worried about this. Kaspa might have... The fact that Kaspa lost 4 cents, it'd just be a case of those who had set stop losses at the cutoff point at 4 cents, they would have got, taken out of the trade. If you have, that's why people tend to have their stop losses slightly below these psychological levels, so they don't lose that. And Kaspa now is up 2%, 3.5%. But waiting for 8 cents mining, if that's the level you need to wait for, that's perfectly fine. 8 cents has been also a very, very tough level for Kaspa. When multiple occasions where Kaspa has just been rejected for sometimes weeks on end, struggling to break above it. So if we could surpass that, that would be a very, very big psychological level for Kaspa to win at. And if we do go there again, I think that would hopefully start to confirm the trends are reversing. We start going into a hopefully start to form the higher trends. You know, we've been going into a very long lower high and lower low trend right now. You know, it's been a very long one. So the moment we can actually we ignore that anomaly, but the moment we actually start, if we can manage double bottom here and then start going above here, that'd be good. Going above 8 cents would be even better, and we'll see where it goes from there. Welcome back, Go Super. You're doing very well. Radio mode, watching Champions League. I apologize. I did not keep up with that. Oh, you know what? I'll be honest. I'm not watching too much football right now. And the reason why is actually because of the Premier League. The Premier League right now is terrible. It's so boring, the football happening right now in the Premier League. You know, I'm not an Arsenal fan. Arsenal are currently winning. And Arsenal football for me is very boring. I haven't got a problem with Arsenal as a team, but I have a problem with the Arsenal fan base, in particular the Ultras. They are a unique bunch, to put it politely. And I don't think anybody really... Their takes are terrible. But the problem is, their takes are so loud that people just... Let me put the gain up. Hopefully that helps with the mic quality, or make it a bit louder. Hopefully it was okay yesterday. But yeah, I just find the Premier League football for me right now is extremely boring. I don't even watch the highlights anymore. It's a shame because I used to love watching Premier League football, but it's so boring right now, and that's kind of turned me off football in general. I'm looking forward to the World Cup though this year. That should be a lot of fun. Welcome back, Max. You're doing very well. Time to moon, really asked. Not yet. It's looking stronger, but to reiterate, while me and my VIPs were prepared for this move, and we called this, an hour ahead, which is, crazy timing. This is great. We need to hear confirmation from a foreign EU officer. From someone from the other side needs to confirm negotiations are taking place for Greenland. Otherwise, this is just Trump's word as a way to potentially stop the markets from dumping, because that is what's happening. Markets were dumping quite aggressively after the announcement, and he realized that, and Trump's midterms are approaching. He can't afford the market to continue bleeding. He really can't. Otherwise, he will lose it. He's got to make a lot of money for people. Otherwise, he's going to lose the midterms. That's the fact of the matter. There's nothing else that will happen. And even then, if you manage to make the markets pump, there's still a very 50-50 chance for me, in my belief. So if he can make the markets do very well by the time the midterms are over in November, then he might end up winning it and he'll be fine. Otherwise, then, we'll have to wait and see. But I think time to moon's not the right... I don't think it's right there yet. We are seeing, a lot of volatility right now, which is great. So we're happy about that. That's a bit of a relief. But we'll have to wait and see, because that sentiment, that this could change overnight. So just keep your wits about you and keep preparing and keep doing your own research, family. Cast looks like a cup and handle. I wouldn't say so. Maybe unless you're looking at a different chart. On the daily, it's not, because cup and handle is something like that. This is not a cup and handle. It's not reached the same height and it's come down low. That's not a cup and handle. And that equally is not a cup and handle, because that's not the same thing. So on the daily chart, it's not. If you look at the weekly, yeah, equally not looking the same on the weekly right now for Kaspa. The cup and handle, you kind of have to see the peak, like you have to see like double top sort of thing there, and then come down a little bit, and then that's the cup and handle pattern. So I wouldn't say it's forming one right now. Although, once more to reiterate, I don't use these sort of chart patterns and technical indicators to determine the price movement of assets. I keep it very bog standard. That's what me and C Crypto and the other people in our team showcase and try to teach in our VIP. It's very bog standard. We just look at the chart, have an overall analysis of it, and just determine where the support zones and levels of resistance are. We don't even really tend to. Don't get me wrong. I will occasionally, as I showcased on PAL, I will occasionally use fib retracements, and they work. You know, if you look at the fib retracement right now on PAL, it worked as intended. We saw from the bottom here, peaked up there, and it retraced back to the golden pocket here of 0.032 before making a rebound. Now, that's good. That does mean you could see PAL now preparing for another move upwards. Once more, it depends on Bitcoin. If Bitcoin starts showing weakness again, we'll probably see PAL correct, and that's why my entry zone in PAL that I made in a video a day or two ago, actually it was yesterday, sorry, is in this zone here, just below the golden pocket, because I think there's a possibility we'll see it slightly dip below over the coming days, or while AI is still not booming just yet. That will happen. I have a lot of sources to confirm as such, but it's not there just yet. Not there just yet. But yeah, my technical analysis is simply just looking at these zones, which you can analyze. You can look at the charts and just see where you've seen resistance and support and draw out boxes for that. And then other tools. I mean, ultimately, it comes down to you, right? If you can use the double tops to know it's going to be coming down, the cup and handle pattern, the hedgehog pattern, the two call for stall pattern, like whatever if you could use these pattern stuff, then fine, go for it. You know, whatever works for you as an investor and trader, by all means. I'm not here to tell you how to do your stuff. I'm not a financial advisor. It's just strategies that I use and what works for me. It's just keeping it very, very simple. You know, when you're trading, set up stop loss. Don't be greedy. Have take profits, and once you reach your take profit, don't get greedy. Just take it out, or take most of it out and have a small moon back. But don't play around with gains. Like if you make profit, you make profit. Happy with that. Welcome back, Double D, bro. Who you're doing very, very well, and you too, Greg and LB on the check-in. Welcome back, Indigenous. How you doing very, very well. Caspians are holding the line. Indeed, Kaspa did just momentarily retrace into the 4 cent zone, but it did hold very strong and is now doing very well, which is fantastic. Hopefully it continues. Yesterday's live was just amazing. I appreciate it. Yeah, it was insane. It was insane. So much so that I do need to re-listen to it just to give a recap on what we heard, because it was something, all right. It was something, all right, and I can't wait for the next time. I'm sure we'll get Roy on again at some point when they have more to update us about. But you know, we got some huge alpha there. You know, we got to hear about GeoSeal as well, and you know what's being built, how the inner work of the warp core, what actually works. The fact that we've got some banks are already utilizing it. Of course, I haven't got the names of them due to NDAs, but they're already utilizing it, and they thoroughly love what they see right now. And the fact of the matter is, which we heard from Envy, is that the hardest part about getting these institutions and these enterprises to get into Kaspa is because they think it's too good to be true, which it is. The fact that you can actually utilize a blockchain infrastructure or, you know, protocol that Kaspa is while retaining self-sovereignty and having incredible finality and security that's Bitcoin level, there's nothing that's existed like Kaspa before. That's of course why my biggest bag is in Kaspa. Of course, I have mentioned other assets that I do look into. The video that I posted yesterday went into that, the strategy here. But Kaspa for me is the strongest in this space. It's just the time will have to wait. The time will come though. Exactly 16 weeks and 2 days until Too Slow powers out. Yeah, it's going to be a long 16 weeks. Although in saying that, Trump is trying his utmost right now to get Powell to resign. He's trying to get him in trouble with the whole buildings and stuff. I'm getting the actual term for it, but yeah, even though I don't think there's anything wrong with what Powell did in that, but he's going to try and get Powell to resign early, which also he kind of needs to, because you got from May when he ends up resigning when his term ends in May. You got May, June, July, August, September, October, November. He's got 5 to 6 months to get a new Fed chair in and to get the markets going parabolic in a time that is not just being at a high point when midterms end. You've got to have it high for enough of a period of time to where those who have invested actually start feeling like they've made money. Not just, oh, we made a quick pump and it's good. They're actually feeling wealthy. So if he gets power earlier, you'll see the economy boom earlier. That will probably follow the biggest crash because the economy is not in a position where it can have money printing. It will have insane inflation. Inflation right now is low. If you look at, what can we look at? I will load up Trueflation and I'll also load up the actual inflation reports. So we do have When was the last inflation report? It was last week, I believe, the CPI. Yeah, PPI, which came in slightly... Yeah, PPI came in as expected. PPI came in as expected, and core PPI came in slightly lower than expected, which is good. And then CPI came in as expected, and core CPI came in slightly below expected as well. So it was good. Inflation has, you know, it's cooled off now, which is good. Trueflation suggests that we are currently at 1.45 or 1.42%, which is below the Fed's 2% target. But ultimately, the Fed look for PCE. PCE is what they care about. Which right now, it's still just holding strong. So it's still reassuring to see it's kind of cooled off. But until it comes to 2%, the Fed aren't inclined to start cutting rates. But the premise is when you start cutting rates, inflation rises, just how it works. So when Jerome Powell ends up leaving, Trump will bring someone in who will likely just cut rates that will cause inflation. And it will likely, if he gets it down to his 1% target, which he wants, for right now we're at, what, US, I'm trying to remember the 3 US. We're currently at, what am I doing? Losing my marbles, that's what I'm doing. We're currently at 3.25 to 3.5 right now. No, sorry, we're at 3.5 to 3.75, sorry. Trump wants to bring that down to 1. So it would be 100 to 125, or even 0.75 to 100. So he wants to bring it down significantly. That's going to cause a lot of inflation. So when that happens, because I think it will, you'll see the markets boom, most likely. Should be great for us, but it'll probably follow with a big crash afterwards. Not financial advice, of course, do your own research, but that's just currently my sentiment for that. We'll have to wait and see how it pans out when the time comes. Just bought 55k Kaspa today. I'll do the same thing next week. Just keep stacking. Love to hear it, Dung Knight. Keep stacking, brother. It's looking very healthy indeed. Now we have got a few more updates as well for the stream. IGRA apparently is inbound. We can have a quick look here at Kaspa's stream. IGRA layer 2. 3,500, almost 3,600 layer 2 transactions. So IGRA actually is, this is all on a closed mainnet, so it's still kind of test taking place, so it's nothing, but this is already cool to see. Seemingly doing a lot more than cashback is right now. Whether that's fully tracked or not, I'm not entirely sure, but IGRA's, you know, is doing a lot right now, which is great to see. Very cool stuff. Even Chris here puts IGRA almost 3,600 transactions in the last hour. Everyone is testing the closed mainnet. Cooks keep cooking from Zealous, CatBridge, and App Cascade as well. You've got an update from that as well with CatBridge to IGRA, the next phase of Kaspa connectivity, where they are helping in the bridge towards ICAS on IGRA to Kaspa's layer 1 as well, which is really good stuff. The public release scheduled for later this week, so we'll hear that. We'll look for that when the time comes. At mainnet launch, CatBridge will support IGRA. Both token and NFT platforms will be fully IGRA compatible, and the multi-network support with IGRA testnet is confirmed. So when IGRA does go mainnet, it's going to be insane. And we heard some huge announcement, if you remember. Remember, last week, we heard Ashton confirm there should be stablecoins at IGRA mainnet launch as well. So IGRA mainnet launch could be extremely successful. You'll see stablecoins, you'll see a bridge already up and running, you'll see multiple other infrastructures and dApps within it, like Zealous, like CatCat, and all these ones actually online, and we'll see what other ones are also potentially in the works and not announced just yet. So this is really cool stuff. So IGRA's cooking. We've got about 2 months or so till the mainnet should be coming out, which is fantastic stuff. So it's with the whole presence and building of KRI and what they're doing, which seems to be accelerating faster and faster, the enterprise use case for Kaspa is growing, and the willingness and demand for Kaspa for these enterprises are also growing as well. This is fantastic stuff. And IGRA's also cooking as well. And we also should know that Casplex do have their own share of announcements coming through this quarter as well, like stablecoins as well, which Kaspador mentioned last week as well. So this is still going to be a big quarter for Kaspa. What does that mean for the price? It does still depend on the market sentiment. I think Kaspa is not in a position right now where it can independently run. I think that will change this cycle or this year. But right now, it'll just depend on Bitcoin. We see Bitcoin surpass, 94K again, be great. Going towards 100K be fantastic. End of Q1. What did I mention to my VIPs? Might as well give a little bit of a snippet. Volatility will likely remain high throughout the first quarter. Yeah. You'll probably see volatility remain quite high throughout the first quarter, where you'll see it going up and down quite a lot. But we want to see the clarity come through, the clarity will be coming through in a few weeks once we reach February 1st, and from that point forward as well. And it'll all be basing around Trump's midterm that start March, ends in November. So I think you'll see volatility this first quarter, starting Q2. You'll see the market kind of prepare for Jerome Powell's replacement. And we'll see how market structure bills and crypto laws are coming through as well. That'll be a good insight. And you'll see AI, boom. AI is growing quicker and quicker. We heard that as well from Raw yesterday about the rapid increase for demand for AI for data centers. And of course, data centers help in regards to the energy. The data centers becoming an increase. They need the hardware, the facilities to help with the growing demand, the insatiable demand for AI, for crypto, for tokenization, for blockchain and stuff. So they need this. They need this stuff. So AI is going to be a big sector. Once more, why I made my doc looking at certain assets as well that are all performing very well today. In particular, this one as well, which, a good little find for our team as well. If you want to find out more, though, about that, access to the documentation, the insight behind it, the deep dive into why the project, or what the project's about, why it's good, what we think about it, check out the VIP. The documentation is available in there. You get access to all the weekly roundtables, the private live streams, the educational sources in there, the playbooks, the assets that we're looking into, and much more as well. And the trades. Right now, trades aren't taking place too much because there's so much volatility in the market, and it's really, you typically the trades that have been coming through typically, the traders like chart flows like Lambo. I recognize they tend to do it a lot when the markets are just consolidating sideways, because it's easy to kind of tell the trends and the levels when the markets are acting in accordance to, typical means, as opposed to when it's just going crazy because of geopolitical tensions. But we do that stuff as well in there, so you want to find out that sort of stuff. Also, BYDFI post their own trades in there as well. So you can even get involved with BYDFI trades, which are part of our VIP. So you can still get daily trades in there as well, should you want to take part in that. You can find out all about that in the VIP. Check it out, links are down below in the description. Utilize the free trials in there as well, and get just level up your game in there. Good evening, Dan, who's doing very, very well. Kaspa is a digital silver, but real silver is also going to 200 USD per ounce. Silver right now is at 93. Will it 2x from here? Don't know about that. I think inevitably, yes, it will, because silver is a finite supply. But will it do that in 2026? The 2x in metals is quite crazy. I think you will see that in a few years. I mean, if you look at it right now, it was down to it was down to 47, in October last year. So it did definitely increase quite. It already did a 2x in the span of 4 months. So I'm not putting it past it also rallying higher, but doing a 2x from here. I mean, you know what? In saying that, it's not impossible, but it does depend. It depends right now. If you see more geopolitical tensions, more feuds between Trump and other nations, be it Iran, Venezuela, Greenland, or Russia, China, whatever it is, you see this uncertainty rally, yes, silver will continue to go, and gold. Otherwise, if you start seeing clarity come through, which we can only hope, you start seeing that come through, then you'll see the metal start to get fatigue, see it come back. You'll see that capital rotate into the risk on the cryptos, the equities, and you'll see it come back. I think silver could make it that high. Will it make it this high this year? You've already seen, even gold. I look at gold. Gold's gone on an absolutely parabolic run since. Even look at last. If we're going back for in the span of a full year, gold has done almost a 2x. That's insane. Gold in the span of a year, almost doing a 2x, is nuts. Silver's doing that in a few months right now. We'll have to wait and see. But I'm not against the possibility of such. It tells us right now, the reason why that's important to understand is because it tells us that the markets are very much focusing on risk off. The metals are, the metals, uranium, gold, silver, that is what everyone's focusing on right now, because that is where people perceive it as the safer assets to hold on to. But once that sentiment shifts, these won't be, it won't be in high demand anymore. We'll have to wait for that happening. That will happen. It's a matter of time for that, though. That being said, family, that will conclude today's daily live stream. Hope you enjoyed. A little bit short today, but I'll be honest, after yesterday's 2.5 hour long live, I need to have a little bit of a short one today. I'm still reeling off that. It was insane. I'm not used to that, though. Maybe become more concurrent as we continue on this year and we get more hosts coming on board. But yeah, thank you all for tuning in once more. If you want to find out more, check out the socials, the links to Discord, VIP. Like the stream, as we always said yesterday. Like and subscribe. That being said, family, have a great day, good evening, good night, and I will see you all tomorrow. Before I leave, though, tomorrow's stream will be a lot earlier because I'm meant to be going to see Lev and the Wolfie Boys at the Grassroots event in London. So the stream will probably be in about 14 hours from now, give or take. I'll make an announcement in my Discord server. So